I don't actually know if it's a candidate or a cause or whatever, but there's these, it's like left NIMBYism. It's this group in New York City who's like, well, building more housing is gentrification, actually. It's the left NIMBYism, you know?
This is a gentrifier.
Hi, I am a YIMBY. Yes, in my backyard. Luxury condos, luxury condos.
It's a bit insufferable.
Luxury condos, just luxury condos. We need many more luxury towers like this one so that eventually it will lower the cost of housing. One day, all of us will be able to live in luxury condos. You have to let your landlord evict you so he can tear down your building and build a luxury high-rise and increase housing supply.
I'm this guy unironically.
YIMBYs are gentrifiers. If you don't want to be a gentrifier, here's someone you should support.
Chris Marte, the leading anti-displacement city council member who
Okay,
successfully stopped luxury towers. Developers and YIMBYs hate him. People love him.
New Yorkers, help Chris Marte win big in this upcoming election and say no to the agenda of big real estate.
Don't be a YIMBY. Vote Chris Marte.
Actual psyop. Yeah, this ad brought to you by like people who want to keep their housing prices exceptionally high. I love them though. I like their energy. They have another video where a guy wearing a Balenciaga cap is complaining about luxury development. Show me the video.
You're living in New York City. You're a student or a young worker, and you're living in New York City, you're probably also struggling to afford your rent. You are not a gentrifier. You are not supporting developers, but you know who are? The YIMBYs.
We should all unite with our communities to fight the real gentrifiers, YIMBYs. YIMBYs elected officials and the developers shelful.
Say no to YIMBYs and yes to actual affordable housing.
How? Where does the affordable housing come from? This counselor opposes congestion pricing, by the way. Yeah, it makes sense. Anybody who's against new development is probably supported largely by boomers who want to keep their housing prices really, really, really high, their investments. So it makes sense they'd also be in favor of like, you should be able to drive to downtown Manhattan without paying $8 or whatever. Man, when I went to New York City, that congestion pricing worked. Overwhelming victory, man. Middle of the day, I was on like 36th Street, just walking around, eating a bagel. Barely any cars on the road. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I know I don't have anything to compare it to from my like prior experience visiting New York City because I haven't been to New York City before, but I've seen pictures and videos of what Midtown and downtown Manhattan look like. So yeah, I went to New York City during its very brief golden age. What kind of bagel? I don't know. A New York kind of bagel? What do you want from me? Youth against displacement. Can I, hold on. Youth against displacement. I've always had a really strong interest in these cynical attempts to weaponize the aesthetic of youth, progressivism, populism, whatever, to support reactionary causes. Okay, they demand the release of Mahmoud Khalil. That's nice. I think that's cool.
A beloved public space in Lower Manhattan. Mayor Eric Adams and the city are trying to evict it so that they can give this land away to a developer. But why?
They claim that destroying the gardens would allow developers to build affordable housing. Sounds good, right?
The issue is the city has been destroying both affordable housing and green spaces for decades.
Over a decade ago, we were promised 100% affordable housing to be built here on the Lower East Side as part of the Seward Park Urban Renewal Area.
Instead, former council member Margaret Chin moved the designated senior housing from this site to Elizabeth Street Garden.
Even though a developer at the time was willing to build 100% low-income housing, Chin rejected the idea to move forward with a plan that took decades to only build 50% of the promised affordable housing.
The city's claim that it cares about affordable housing is a lie. When this parking lot was identified as an alternative for affordable housing, the city rejected it. All the city cares about is bowing down to developer interests.
This is what the sellout system does.
It pits green community spaces against affordable housing and tells us we can't have both. It's time to stop fighting for crumbs.
This is Elizabeth Street Garden.
Why are all the people in the ads kids? I mean, that's the group they're trying to appeal to, right? Is it? Do we think there might be like a middle ground here a little bit, where you could build new housing, but it not be like unaffordable luxury condos?
Over the last 2 months, we surveyed over 100 small businesses about congestion pricing. We even wrote a little report about it.
Oh yeah, they're anti.
It's killing our community in Chinatown and the Lower East Side. More than 85% of small businesses oppose congestion pricing outright.
Small businesses?
over 70% are experiencing decrease in customer traffic, more than 65% are experiencing an increase in delivery costs, and half of the small businesses are having trouble with employees getting to work.
Almost 90% of the small businesses we surveyed say congestion pricing would make it harder for them to pay the rent. But look, numbers are boring.
They said it would?
The report if you care, but the heart of the matter and what everyone's avoiding when we talk about congestion pricing is displacement. Business owners have been in Chinatown for decades and are now seeing the 1,000 tiny cuts that are bleeding us dry. Rents are over $20,000 a month for stores and margins are already thin.
Here's some quotes from the businesses themselves.
Famous Sichuan on Pell Street said,
"You know what would bring those rent costs down? You know what you could do to bring the cost of rent down? You're not going to like it."
Business has dropped by 70% since congestion pricing started. I'm very dissatisfied with Governor Kathy Hochul. The charging policy only applies to the area south of 60th Street in Manhattan. It's very unfair to the residents and businesses here. No fees are levied on other areas.
The pickle guys on
I down 70%? I just don't know if I believe that.
Grand Street said, "I sell a $9 product. It's hard for my customer to pay $9 toll and $4 for parking to buy a $9 product. Everything goes up, so I'm forced to pass it on to my customers."
Who drives into Manhattan and parks in Manhattan, gets out and buys a single $9? That's psychotic. Why are they driving to your shop? There's a metro station every block.
Do you want to talk about our health?
I walked around Chinatown, by the way. Good luck finding a parking space there. Like, what? Well, I don't even know why you'd try. That's insane to me.
From the environment, is it healthy for workers to spend 2 hours extra a day commuting, to be worried about their rent burden? People are also part of the environment, and when we forget that, we suffer.
Kathy Hochul needs to do better.
I just find this psyop really fascinating. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not a deliberate psyop. It's just...
People are so able to... Hey! Wait a minute! Hey! This is not right!
I'm being handled!
These are protest videos. I want to have it explained to me how building new housing is racist or something. Damn, they got a crack team here.
Youth Against Displacement and the Coalition to Protect Chinatown and the Lower East Side has been speaking to small businesses, conducting a survey to find out how congestion pricing is affecting our community.
We've heard reports of less foot traffic in the area and increased delivery costs.
Why would foot traffic... Okay, we've heard reports. Why would foot traffic go down if congestion pricing went up? How does that work? How would it work that way?
These factors make it harder and harder for them to run their businesses and thrive. Let's hear from one now.
Saiful Islam, the business name is S6 Gourmet Corp, 115 Irvington Street, Lower East Side of Manhattan, New York, New York.
How long has your business been in Chinatown or in the Lower East Side?
27 years. Family owns operate business.
How do you feel about congestion pricing?
Horrible.
Yeah?
Yes, horrible.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't do this because they kill all the small businesses in 60 below. And 60 below, I don't even see that much traffic. If there's no traffic, who's gonna do business with? And I don't even see.
I know Guy goes to New York City once and now he's an expert in New York City. I really do not think car traffic is where you're getting your business from. Everyone's walking over there. There's even a saying about it.
Like local walking traffic. So a person doesn't come in, who you gonna sell it to?
How's the business changed since you guys opened it?
The rent went up sky high. It's maybe 15 times more.
15?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's really bad.
This is very bad for us.
Youth Against Displacement and the Coalition to...
But what does that have to do with congestion pricing? Those are unrelated. Those are totally unrelated. You know? They should build more and implement, rent control, in my humble opinion, personally. That's what I think. NYC already has it. To an extent. I don't know. It's just, there's Chinatown on the Lower East Side. East Village and the West Village and so on and so forth. Where's Little Italy? Shouldn't that be around here? Shouldn't Little Italy be somewhere here? They overlap? Yeah, but it's really little. You got to zoom in more. All right, I'm zooming. Now I'm zooming out. This wasn't very helpful. This is from 2023. This is before congestion pricing. Jesus, look at all those people. In this shot, can you imagine wanting to come to a business down here and you're like, oh yeah, I'll drive and park? I don't know. It's because some of these people come in from Queens. Yeah, but isn't there a metro? Rent control is a bad idea. Rent control is fine as long as you build new properties along with it. You know, there's like an element of decommodification there. Oh, now we're in Little Italy. There we go. I was right here. Plenty of people drive in the outer boroughs. Yeah, well, the outer boroughs aren't what we're talking about, is it? We're talking about Manhattan because that's where the congestion pricing is. Cannolis. Such a beautiful area. The entire world really is in that city, huh? It really is. It really is. No, yeah, the effects of congestion pricing have been overwhelmingly positive, for sure. And also, because there's so much less traffic on the road, travel times in and out of Manhattan have decreased substantially. Look, trip times across river crossings into the congestion pricing area continue to be much faster than last January. There's a lot of good there. Average daily ridership of subways and buses, they're up. Ridership of Lear and the MNR, they're up. I mean, I don't know. I really think this shit is just astroturfed. I just think it's astroturfed. Youth Against Displacement started in 2018. We're a group of the young and young at heart fighting the overdevelopment and displacement of Chinatown and the Lower East Side. We organized the picket line in front of the Museum of Chinese in America to open the original Jingfeng and hold the museum accountable for $35 million. I don't know the specifics of this. On the picket line, it's a micro niche movement. Then yeah, but it's interesting. I'm dumb. What does astroturf mean? It's like fake grassroots. Maybe it's not fake. Maybe they're just misguided. I don't know.
Mary solution that Governor Hochul is making it out to be. A flat tax will always hurt those with less money more. Small businesses will be forced to make room for big box stores.
Oh, anti-congestion pricing.
Congestion pricing is a regressive policy that will rope off Lower Manhattan to become a rich person's playground. Not only does it harm people who live here, but the workers, small businesses, doctors, customers, friends, family, and people who've been displaced already but still travel into this neighborhood to be part of our community. Congestion pricing is wildly unpopular, with nearly 65% of New Yorkers opposing the policy. And Hochul knows this. Just days before the presidential election, she blocked it from going into effect, saying that the cost was too much for working people. Yet as soon as the Democrats lost, she brought the plan right back. Is our community just another chess piece for Hochul to play with? Hochul tries to use young people like me, pretending that this is for our futures and to protect our environment. But people are part of the environment.
The comments do seem to be pushing back quite a bit.
By allowing real estate to displace our neighbors and pollute our air to build their luxury development projects. Instead of taking more money from working people, the governor must rein in the MTA's careless spending and stop giving away billions to developers who profit off our struggle. It's time Hochul learned to respect the working people she was elected to represent and found alternatives that protected our livelihoods. Mary solution that Governor Hochul is.
It's interesting, right? It's like you're so aesthetically and rhetorically adjacent to points that normally we would agree with, but you're at the last, there's just like a turn, you know, like a last second turn.
That is an absolute insult in every sense of the word to Porky's memory. You have his book over here, and I can assure you, if he was alive today, he would say, take that book off your shelf. Porky Lee is a
this is like a more Chinatown specific thing, not really about the economics. They're mad at Mocha. Literally advocating for MTA cuts, literal austerity politics. It's just strange. And they're all young, like all of them. It's just the Lower East Side's newest luxury development is built on the stolen wages of Chinese women. Like, that's such a pointed, like, feed, like, make the anti-development argument lefty through ChatGPT or whatever.
Did you know that your rent is going up because of the city's racist displacement agenda? Luxury developers buy off elected officials to enact policies to make them richer.
And forces working people out of their homes.
One of their best tools to do that is by rezoning, where they can change what can be built and where. But we can use this tool to our advantage.
If communities can decide how we grow, then we can have more affordable housing and less displacement.
But why? Why?
That's why Youth Against Displacement fights for the Chinatown Working Group plan.
What's your solution to these problems? All those places are expensive. Yeah, but you notice that they're not calling for the development of apartment buildings that are affordable, right? Like, yeah, it's they're not proposing any solutions. They're literally just showing, like, here's new development. We don't like that. Like, yeah, it's expensive. No shit. It's Manhattan. It seems like they're just like degrowthers or something, you know?
community-led rezoning that protects Chinatown and the Lower East Side.
Join us at the picket line.
See, like they don't have a solution. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. I find this content kind of disgusting. I'm just fascinated. I locked in and started cleaning my room when you talked about it earlier. My room is now clean. It feels so much better. If only people listen to me more often. If this is a segment, you know some people are going to latch onto this and turn this into drama. There's no drama here. First of all, this is a group of like 10 young people in New York City, okay? I command an army of billions of autists, for one. For two, like, I just want to know what their solution is to high housing costs. Like, you know, they're anti-congestion pricing. They take the opinions of small business owners for fact. They're for MTA cuts or MTA austerity, so they want less money going into the metro, I guess. They use accusations of racism all over the place to protest against these developments, which I don't necessarily think are invalid. Racism is, you're not going to believe this from me, a real problem. I don't know, like, what's the damn solution? Because I'm in favor of building more housing in Manhattan. There's plenty of room for it. And I'm also in favor of rent control. Just needs to be done in tandem with that construction, proper maintenance. Chat claiming Asian people in NYC are making up racism is kind of disgusting. Yeah, people in chat are maybe taking the claims a bit too far. Obviously, the racism thing's a real issue. I mean, it's Chinatown, you know? It's more about, like, how much you're weaponizing those claims to an insincere point. Hence the astroturfing thing. But I don't know. That was very...
Come with Youth Against Displacement to present at the Asian American Arts Alliance's January town hall titled Homeland. We talked about our anti-displacement organizing in Chinatown and the Lower East Side, including our Mocha picket line, how our fight against...
You gotta say, though, they're pretty effective, right? Like, it seems to be a group of, like, 15 young people, but they've been really aggressive for a year now, or more than a year, for years now. You know? Like, protesting, showing up, they're loud. They're very disproportionately influential.
Displacement unites people across race and industries.
They have consistent messaging.
Displacement. We shared the stage with Vivian Sansor, who showed a video of her work for a free Palestine. Some of our friends also pitched their work relating to the town hall's focus of decolonization, abolition, and anti-capitalist organizing. We ended the town hall with a potluck and a lot of mingling. Thank you to A4 for inviting us to present at their town hall. And we'll see you at the Mocha Picket Line Thursdays through Sundays, 11.
Who's paying them? Why are you asking conspiracy bait questions? I don't know. Maybe they just fundraise themselves. It seems like they're pretty good with the messaging. Mocha, when we exposed them for selling out Chinatown for a mega jail for $35 million. This shit has music. I can tell just by looking at it. Ah, loud.
You might be wondering who Jonathan Chu is and why we're yelling shame on you at him. Well, Jonathan Chu is Chinatown's biggest landlord and the board co-chair of the Museum of Chinese in America, or MoCA. You're seeing Jonathan Chu enter MoCA's fundraising gala, where tickets range from $1,000 to $2,500, and table sponsorships went as high as $88,000 because the $35 million...
Okay. Is it not a little bit funny that at a Chinese like art fundraising gala, the highest tier table is jade? Like you have silver, gold, and jade is the highest one. Is that not funny? I don't know. What's the most Chinese valuable material we can think of?
$1 they took as jail bribe money to support the borough-based jail plan wasn't enough. We refuse to let MoCA continue to sell out Chinatown for its own profit and further the destruction of Chinatown and the Lower East Side.
It's stereotypical, so yes, it's fine. I don't think it's stereotypical. I think that Chinese people actually really like jade. I think that's fine to say. I think that's true, right? It's cool. I mean, I'm not anti-jade. I think jade's very pretty. I know I've been on this for a while. Sometimes stuff like this is like a kiln, you know? I'm like an instrument, all right? I'm like a tool. And when I'm going over like big mainstream news, political articles, what has Donald Trump done? What is he doing? You know, I can feel myself blunting. I'm getting worn down. And then I need to take a second to like refocus, right? I'm looking at this and now I'm thinking about the world in new ways. So, okay, so this is the Chinatown Working Group plan. This is the thing that they're advocating for. What is the CWG plan? The CWG is a community-led rezoning plan that protects Chinatown and Lower East Side neighborhoods from overdevelopment and displacement by settling rules on how land can be used, okay? The CWG limits the height of new buildings, requires all housing built on NYCHA land to be affordable to low-income residents, requires significantly more housing to be truly affordable to the community by using the local income level to determine the rent of new units, okay, limits the number of hotels that can be built in the area, okay, but how much, like what height limit, like what new, like how much new development do you want? Why would we want to limit the height of housing in Manhattan? Because this is Chinatown. This isn't downtown or midtown. You know, it's its own community. There's a lot of historical weight to the way the neighborhood is laid out, and I think you can respect that while doing new development. Chinatown is downtown. No, it's not the part of downtown. You know what I mean. I'm not a local. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the exact demarcations that a local might say. You can look at a map. We're nitpicking, you don't actually disagree with them. You've got a bee in your bonnet. I've noticed. Real estate rates and rent hikes push them out. By limiting the height income eligibility of new development, it disincentivizes wealthy developers from coming into the neighborhood because they simply won't be able to make that much money in the long run. By putting a plug in how much and what type of development can happen, the CWG plan protects all parts of the neighborhood from displacement. Okay, but like what actual development do you want to do? Ah! Visual summary of the plan. It's a picture of a butthole. Oh, you, my friends. Shit. I did it. Forgot that you can do that. Wait. Why is it upside down in some parts of it still? Wait, did they? Okay. It's on purpose? Oh, okay. Whatever. Kind of a little odd to put in your PDF that you put online. Okay. What would change for the district with existing zoning, special district zoning? With special district zoning, landowners cannot make major renovations or demolish buildings unless they've received an anti-harassment certification to guarantee on-site permanently affordable housing. The size of new buildings reflects existing scale and character of the neighborhood. Support diverse small business development such as big box stores and hotels prohibited. What would it provide? Creation of new affordable housing. But you got to talk about it then. I don't know. 120-foot height limit. That's fine. Okay, these provisions look fine. Or these look fine. I'm kind of being sold on the height limit. Oh, there should be a height limit for Chinatown. Sure, yeah. Have some visual distinctions in the neighborhood. I don't know. Just seems odd to me. Why the anti-congestion pricing shit? Why the small business tyranny reporting shit? I don't know. Why don't they talk about building new housing? I don't know. Why say YIMBYs are gentrifiers? You realize YIMBYs would be in favor of building these 120-foot new apartment. That's also YIMBYism. Like what I guess maybe it's to drive engagement or controversy, right? Like, oh, YIMBYs are gentrifiers or whatever. This is YIMBY. If you're building this, you're building like a mixed-use walkable neighborhood. This is YIMBYism. I don't understand why they're drawing. Why are they trying to divide us? I don't get it. It's rage bait for outer borough diasporoids. If it's rage bait for outer borough diasporoids, then why are they anti-congestion pricing? The outer borough diasporoids are the ones who are most hurt by the congestion pricing. So they get the New Jersey support too, I don't know. Yeah, but how influential is New Jersey support for a Chinatown whatever? You know what? I feel like I've explored this to the limits of my curiosity. How fascinating. I mean that sincerely.